Hi, a recent film I watched this weekend was Primate, Johannes Roberts' new horror thriller. It's the story of a family living in Hawaii. The teenage daughter comes home from college with her best friend and another hanger on, meets up with her brother, and invites over a couple of other lads for a party. Her father, who is a very successful author who's also deaf, is away on a business trip, but they're also joined at the home by the family's pet ape, a chimpanzee called Ben, who was the pet project of the young woman's late mother, who was a linguist and had taught Ben a huge number of signs and how to use a word board to communicate. However, without their knowledge, Ben has been bitten by a rabid mongoose and is succumbing to rabies, which turns him into a monstrous killing machine. So the film unfolds into a slasher movie set in this isolated mansion, with Michael Myers replaced by an angry chimpanzee. Um, it's surprisingly gory, but that's kind of the limit of interest because the characterization is so thin and the plot beats are so repetitive that it's very hard to become engaged with it. It's a short film. It runs barely an hour and 20 minutes without credits, but it never really grabs. It never really engages, and it relies, I think, a bit too much on the gore. There's an opening sequence where Ben is visited by his vet to give him an injection, but Ben tricks him, drags him into his little cubbyhole, and then rips his face off, which we see in graphic detail, alleviated only slightly by it being a cameo by an uncredited Rob Delaney. So if you ever wanted to see Deadpool's best friend having his face ripped off, now's your chance. Those of you who really didn't like Catastrophe, this is for you. Um, but as I say, the, the story feels rote and not interesting or original enough. Rabies doesn't work like that. It doesn't turn you into a rage monster. It rots your brain. Um, the effects work is generally very well done. The portrayal of Ben by an actor in costume with I believe, a sort of a CG assisted prosthetic mask is very well achieved and really impressive. On a technical level, it's very, very cleverly done. Um, but it never gets out of first gear. It never gets really engaging. It never gets really tense. I think it's a shame that Roberts has at least one really good film in his past, The Strangers Pray at Night, which has a similarly sort of slightly misty, late night isolated setting, very visually very similar. But there it worked. There were character dynamics that were interesting and engaging, and charismatic performances, and some really effective direction. And here it just feels a bit coasting on the central premise and the gore. Even the presence of Oscar winner Troy Kotsur as the father doesn't really lift it. He's not really in the film that much and doesn't have a great deal to do. Um, but overall, this is a fairly disappointing film. Although, really, if you want to go and see a film about a chimpanzee tearing people limb from limb, what more could you possibly expect?